Hello and welcome to the Daily Space for today, March 25th, 2019. I am your host for today, Dr. Pamela Gay, and I am here to put science in your brains. Today we're working with a slightly new setup. We have moved from the little tiny office where we normally stream back up into my attic studio. Thanks to spring. This is an unheated space, and we are very grateful that the weather is allowing us to once again be up here where we can keep the green screen set up all the time. Now, this means that things may sound a little different, look a little different, and we want your feedback on if things aren't quite the way you like them. So just let us know in the comments, in the chat, wherever you may be watching this. Now, what that means is you have options on where to watch this. You may be watching this live on twitch.tv/CosmoQuestX. You may be watching this over on the CosmoQuestX channel on YouTube. Wherever you are watching, please click the little button that means you will get notified whenever we have new content. That's subscribe on YouTube and follow over on Twitch. Now, we're not here to promote our own channel, although we're kind of here to promote our own channel because if we don't, our channel dies. But what we want to be here for is to bring you all that is new in the world of space and astronomy. And today we have a variety of, well, cool news stories that in some cases are just bringing you a little bit of history. In our first news story for the day, I have a reminder that it is essentially 50 years since human beings last visited the moon. Back during the late 1960s and early 1970s, the United States and the Soviet Union sent mission after mission to retrieve rocks from the lunar surface. The Russians did it with robots, America did it with men. In both cases, we ended up with individuals with sideburns and lamb chops analyzing rocks. Now, I'm showing you this particular image because it is just one of the many images that are slowly coming out as we celebrate this anniversary. Here we see people who have, well, thick cotton gloves on their hands surrounded by plastic bags, and one individual who I'm guessing is the manager, keeping his hands off by keeping them in his pockets. This is so very different from everything that we're going to do with the samples that are going to be coming to us from Hayabusa and Ryugu, where we keep the samples essentially vacuum sealed inside of massive containment systems that allow us to cordon off a little bit of dust here, a little bit of gravel there to work on it. Here, they just have the rocks out on what looks like kitchen aluminum foil. I'm sure it's more special than that. And I just love this image, especially, can you see, I'm still figuring out how to green screen effectively. I'm just going to take my finger off the edge of the screen. So back in the back, there's a blonde-haired, I'm guessing, fellow with massive lamb chops looking on from behind. This truly shows you that times and styles have changed, but the science goes on. So, in additional anniversary of the Apollo news, we're starting to see the still living Apollo astronauts getting drawn together for a variety of events all across the United States and the world. This particular picture is from a recent panel that was done where they had all living and able Apollo astronauts on display for, that really is the best word, at the Explorers Club in New York City. And you can really see the styles of all these different gentlemen, and the fact that Buzz Aldrin is wearing mismatched socks just somehow says it all. Now, while they are still alive, and you can see their numbers are decreasing over time, make sure that you take advantage of any of the many different events this anniversary year that are taking place and get out and go see what these wonderful men have to say. More than that, you can also take advantage of the documentary films that are coming out. There's a new Apollo 11 documentary film that seems to be aiming to be an early year plug-in for the Academy of Awards for documentary film production. It uses never before seen video and photography to give us a new view into what it was like for these astronauts as they trained, took off, and explored the nearest rock to the Earth. Now, not all of today's news is historical, but this one does look at historical trends. This weekend, many of you did not get to experience Aurora as we had hoped. It turned out that that solar flare that we were looking at was more of a solar fizzle, and there was nothing exciting reported. There was no geomagnetic storm. Nonetheless, the sun is fabulously active right now, which does not make a whole lot of fabulous sense. We are currently in the final days of cycle 24 of the solar cycle. This is an 11-year cycle of the sun going from minimum number of sunspots and minimum amount of solar activity to maximum number of sunspots and maximum amount of solar activity. You can see that the past 3 solar cycles have shown a decrease in solar activity. This isn't a long-term trend. We do not anticipate that the sun is going to have fewer and fewer sunspots over time. This is simply a current trend. Now, even though we're heading into solar minimum, currently the sun has this massive active region that, if you squint and look closely, looks kind of like a really badly carved jack-o'-lantern. I, for one, see an eyeball here, a nose, and a mouth. And this particular jack-o'-lantern shaped active region is spewing particles our way. So there's an active solar wind with active particle flow towards the Earth. And while the weekend was a fizzle, we may have a flare this week. So stay tuned. And as always, check out spaceweather.com to get your forecast for what may be glowing in the sky above. Now, in a further update on one of last week's stories, this is NASA footage of that meteorite about a meter across that came in over the Bering Sea, over the straits between Russia and the United States, and exploded. This is an animated GIF made up of a variety of images from a NASA satellite. This was, of course, discovered in a different weather satellite, but the reason we keep all this data is so we can go back and find the things that may have got missed in one image and spot them in another. Now, what we're seeing here is actually a little bit more complicated than I initially thought. This dark streak on the image, this dark streak is not smoke. It is actually the shadow of the tail of the meteor, which is right here. So you can see the meteor flaming up, and you can also see the shadow of the debris from the meteor. This is all kind of cool, and yeah, keep every image. We never know what may be learned later. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of new news today. It is a boring Monday in the realm of space and astronomy. That said, tomorrow we are expecting a launch of an Electron rocket. This is a little tiny rocket that's about 1.2 meters in diameter, a little over 3 feet, 3.5-ish feet. This means this is a rocket that, should you choose to, and you should not do this, you could hug this rocket. Now, this particular rocket is going to be launching from New Zealand, carrying a DARPA mission where they're going to be doing a tech checkout of a new antenna system. So we will be bringing that to you live once we know when it is going to happen. We are still waiting for final launch time to be announced by Rocket Lab. It was supposed to launch yesterday, but the mission was scrubbed due to one of their radio transmitters failing. They just wanted to make sure that we could have the best live stream possible, which is a kind of cool reason to wait to launch a rocket. Now, I'm sure there was other more scientific reasons. Those just weren't the ones shared on Twitter. So that is all that is new for today. I will now take your questions. And while you type them in, I'm going to remind you, remember to @CosmoQuestX so that I can find them quickly. This is a production sorry, lost my mouse. This is a production of CosmoQuest, your place to learn and do science. We are quickly gearing up to start bringing back all of our science applications, and there is a small chance that I will be live streaming user experience design tomorrow afternoon. So as always, give the channel a follow because we go live with all sorts of different things, whether it be launches, landings, press conferences, or of course our daily space and Sunday Science Hour, which both come to you at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And right now, that's 5 p.m. London time until daylight savings time kicks in. We are made out of the Planetary Science Institute, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University. We are a 501c3, which means your donations are tax deductible where laws allow, and we are here thanks to the generous contributions of people like you. Your bits, your subs, your donations, you keep the science flowing. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And I'm now going to see what all you have for questions over in the chat. So scrolling down from the top. So Veronica Cura asks, could the trend in solar activity be an artifact of better data over the years? I don't think so. Better data should allow us to see more sunspots, not less sunspots. So let me bring up that chart once again. Switching fields. So looking at this image, what you can see is here in 1990, which was not technologically all that different from today, we had a much higher number of sunspots. And over time, we've seen fewer sunspots. So this is an actual change in the sun. It simply hasn't had as messy a solar cycle lately as it has at different times in the past. The sun is known to change over time. We don't fully understand what is driving all of this behavior. There was actually a point in the past called the modern minimum where the sun basically was like, I'm not going to have any spots for a number of years. And this is actually tied into what's called the mini ice age or the dark ages, where we actually had very different weather here on Earth because the sun's activity and the Earth's weather are lightly linked. So there's a whole lot going on, and it's more complicated than just not having accurate counts. Now, we do see, if you look at long-term records, that there are less accurate records in the distant past, but this data comes in the era of modern solar telescopes and being able to just project the sun onto a wall in a laboratory and count those spots once a day. So this is real. And it's kind of cool that we have so much going on to study. Okay, looking to see what all is going on in the chat. Still no hop. What are you talking about, Stormer John? So Henny's Wardverb asks, does anything interesting happen in the trail of a meteor? Like, could there be lightning because of ionization? We haven't seen anything as interesting as lightning. What is cool is you can actually hear in radio waves a meteor streak through the atmosphere because all of the radio stations out there that are sending off radio signals in all different directions, their signals are going to bounce off that meteor and get shifted, Doppler shifted, so that we hear them as whistles in the places between the stations on a radio. So you can actually tune your radio to an empty place if you still have an old-fashioned analog radio and listen during a meteor shower. And occasionally on any given night or day, you can do this day or night, you'll catch the sound of that Doppler shifting of your local radio station. Uh, so let's see what else is going on. Oh, yeah. There is still nothing going on of great interest at the Star Hopper. As soon as there is something of interest, we will bring it to you, unless it happens completely unannounced, in which case we will apologize and talk to you about it afterwards. This is one of the frustrating things about the Star Hopper test is there are windows for when we expect activity to go on because they do have to clear with the FAA when they do different tests, but we don't know if they're going to do anything for certain, and they're not streaming it. We're actually watching on a local surf school's live stream. And I just love that a local surf school is like, we shall stream this thing because we can see it. Uh, so yeah, that's it. Uh, so it is a quiet day out there. I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions, and that's okay. I'm going to thank you all for being here. And I guess things are super short. If my day allows, I might get through my to-do list and find things to do on this stream later today. We are noticing a decrease in viewership. This makes us sad. So if you all could do us a favor and share out with friends, share out with other streamers. Thank you so much, Trekker Kev, for subbing for 2 months. Let me turn on the dogs so that you can see the dogs. There's Estella off in the distance. There. I made it rain. And Stella totally doesn't care, but Eddie is working his way. There, we have dogs getting Cheerios. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for your support of what we do. Now, if you guys could share out everything that we're doing on your channels, it would be a tremendous help. We are actually planning another special event the Saturday after April 13th. Actually, the Saturday, April the 13th, we are going to be doing a celebration of 10 years of 365 days of astronomy. We are in the process of reaching out to a bunch of people who've contributed content across all the years to see if they will come on and hang out with us here on stream. And yeah, 10 years of a podcast. We've produced over 3,600 episodes. So we need to celebrate that. So mark your calendars, April 13th. We will be streaming to celebrate 10 years of 365 days of astronomy. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for sharing out our channel to all your friends. And I'm going to be on my to-do list today, writing a message out to all of our followers on Patreon and thanking you for all you do and giving you a quick update of what all's going on. So thank you, and I'm not seeing more questions. So I think April 13th is a Saturday, Tygent. Yeah, it's a Saturday. So I'm going to say thank you all for being here. This has been The Daily Space. We are your place to catch up on all that is new in space and astronomy, coming to you most Mondays through Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. That is currently 5 p.m. London time. We also have the Sunday Science Hour, same time, same place, and bring you all sorts of other random in the moments in between. Give us a follow and keep up with all that we're doing. We are part of CosmoQuest, your place to learn and do science, and we are produced by the Planetary Science Institute, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University. We are here thanks to you and the generous contributions, subscriptions, bits, donations of people like you. You keep the science flowing. I am now going to roll the credits, and after the credits roll, I am going to raid our channel over to another educational streamer so that you can keep learning right here on twitch.tv. So thank you for being here, and wherever you are in the world, have a fabulous morning, evening, afternoon, and if the weather allows, and don't do this if there's like tornadoes or lightning, if the weather allows, go outside and look up. Bye-bye.